Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. Woo. Sorry about that. Welcome to the Crumbs and Corkscrews Facebook page, YouTube channel, Facebook group, wherever you're joining from or on the replay or everything. Happy Sunday. Thanks for joining me as always. It's so exciting today. This is the last kitchen live until the summer. I know. I just need some time, sort some bits and pieces out, figure some new recipes, and then we'll be back sort of probably about July, August time. But we'll talk about that later. Today, however, it's all about this. It's all about a no bake Neapolitan cheesecake. So we'll be getting stuck in shortly, as always. We're just going to have a moment or two to let people join, get in and say hello and things. So yeah, drop me a comment below. Let me know where you're joining from, if you're on the replay or if you're watching live. It is really actually surprisingly sunny here, because after the last couple of days here in the Cotswolds, it's been awful. Oops, we're already on a... there we go, we're back. So yeah, it's not been great here. It's been really wintry. I've had my hat and my scarf and my big heavy coat on when we've been going for a walk, but it is, for the moment, fingers crossed, blue skies here. So I've chucked Ian out on his bike and we're going to be in about 10 seconds getting stuck in to a no bake Neapolitan cheesecake. I can't wait. Haven't had cheesecake for ages, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. But as it says, let's go. Let's get stuck in and crack on today. So if you haven't joined me before, welcome to my kitchen. There's loads of replays on the Facebook page and the YouTube channel, and all the recipes are up on the blog as well. So you can head over and find those and watch and skip through. Everything's got little timestamps now, so you'll be able to skip to the bits that you want rather than having to listen to me waffle all day. So, but yeah, this is good. So cool. And let's go into, so we're talking about a no bake Neapolitan cheesecake today. So I've been thinking about this for ages. It's one of those really retro sort of ice cream flavour desserts that you used to have when you were little, you know, the chocolate, the strawberry and the vanilla. And I used to always just scoop out the chocolate and the vanilla and leave the strawberry bit down in the middle. And what we're trying to do is we're going to try and get that 3-layer colour going through our cheesecake, just as you get in a Neapolitan ice cream block. And this recipe is going to serve about 8 to 10 people, depends on the size of the cheesecake you're making. And it's really quick and simple. It takes sort of, in total, about 15 minutes to prep everything together. I'm going to be obviously talking through with you guys, but it's a good one as well for the kids to get stuck in. They can mash up the fruit and mix in the filling and crush the biscuits and all sorts of really good things like that. And again, we're going to be using my no bake cheesecake recipe, which is one that's really easily adaptable. So once you've nailed sort of getting it, the basics really, the base and the filling, you can adapt it and tweak it and do as much as you want to it and pull it through. But the Neapolitan cheesecake is based on those 3 key flavours: chocolate, strawberry and vanilla. So we're going to make 3 batches of different cheesecake fillings today. So this here is, as you'll notice if you've seen the site, this is my Biscoff cheesecake, because I didn't have a cheesecake image for this one today. Ingredients wise, then, I'm going to be making a 6-inch cake today, but you can, the recipe and the ingredients here are all for the, an 8-inch. So, you know, you can pare this down or bring it up all together. And yeah, that's it. We'll be doing an 8-inch cheesecake, 6-inch today. And ingredients wise, then we're going to be using a chocolate biscuit base. So these are bourbon biscuits, but you could use Oreos or digestive biscuits if you want, or any sort of biscuit that you prefer, dark chocolate digestives or milk chocolate digestive. But I'm using the bourbon because we want that chocolate in the base as well as in our filling. So I've got 250 grams of those here. You could use a chocolate chip cookie instead. We're going to bind those with 60 grams of unsalted butter, and we're going to melt this and we'll pop that in the microwave. For our filling, we're going to need full fat cream cheese. And as always, like I've talked about so many times, it has to be full fat. It's because of the water content in our cream cheese that if it's lower fat, it has a higher water content, so it won't set as well. We're not going to be using any setting agents here, no gelatin or anything like that. So it needs to be full fat because this is going to work with our cream to hold everything together. I'm using Philadelphia. If you can get a block cream cheese, you can use that as well. It's not so common over here in the UK. But when you peel back the foil, you'll see, sort of get an idea of the amount of water content that's in your cream cheese just by the liquid that's in here. Now I've strained this off already and I can see I've got a little bit of water in my bowl. You can use store-bought ones as well. Philadelphia tends to be the better one in the UK for cream cheese because the water content's better. It's less than the store-bought ones. But like I say, if you peel back the foil, you'll see how much water is sat on the top there. With that, we're going to be adding in 75 grams of icing sugar. This is just to help sweeten it through, take off the edge of the cream cheesiness. And then you'll also be going to need double cream. So that's in the fridge at the moment. If you can't get double cream or heavy cream, you want a whipping cream, not a single cream or sort of a pouring cream, because it's not. Again, the fat content that with the cream cheese is going to bind everything together and hold it. So double cream or heavy cream there. For our fillings then, we're doing the 3 fillings. We're doing chocolate. So we've got dark chocolate here, about 75 grams. And we're going to pop this in the microwave to melt it. You can use a milk chocolate if you prefer, if you don't want something as sort of chocolatey. But this is going to give you a nice sort of that chocolate, strawberry and vanilla flavors that we know from Neapolitan ice cream. So that's that. You're also going to need some strawberries, and we're using fresh strawberries here. We're going to puree these down in the mini chopper and add them in for our strawberry layer. But you could also use sort of, from last week we made the berry curd with the meringue roulade. You could bring that through if it's like a strawberry berry curd, or you're not too fussed about it just being strawberry layer, you could pull some of those through. But also I had considered, and it does work, you can use Angel Delight, strawberry Angel Delight, if you want to just have a gentle strawberry flavour, and you just add this in and whisk it up as normal. You wouldn't need the whole packet. Or you could use like a Nesquik, a strawberry milkshake powder, or a strawberry extract or flavouring that you can get in the supermarkets now. I know a lot of supermarkets do. And for then our vanilla layer, we're just going to be using our homemade vanilla extract, and we're going to need a couple of teaspoons of that. So that's all our ingredients. And then equipment wise, like I say, you're going to need a springform pan. Now, like I said, I'm using the 6-inch here, but you can use it the 8-inch, which is what these ingredients are for. It's just the 2 of us, so we don't need anything as big. But the springform pans are the ones here with these clamps on the side. She's going to make a mess. And so what happens is that once we've set our cheesecake, we can actually loosen it off with a knife and then open the clamp as far as it goes and then pull it out. It's the best way. You don't want to be doing this in a cake tin where you've got to push it up or try and get it out. This is just the quickest and cleanest way of getting our cheesecake out. You'll also need a large mixing bowl. This is again for making our cream cheese filling, and you'll also need a couple of bowls for making the different flavors. Or you can just wash them up. We're also going to need things like you're going to need a handheld mixer, or you can use a stand mixer for this. It's entirely up to you. Obviously, usually utensils, palette knife, spatulas, a little bit of baking parchment to line our springform cake tin with. And for the biscuits and for the strawberries today, I'm going to be using the mini chopper to chop everything up. But you could do that in a food processor. In all honesty, I couldn't be bothered to get a magic mix out this morning. So that's all our equipment and everything. As usual, it's really simple, this cheesecake. It doesn't take a lot at all. So let's grab then over onto the main. Right, I'm going to get started. First up then, let's plug in. Because that helps. I love these cheesecakes. They're just so simple to make. And that's the key. So we're going to make our filling first. And we're going to crush our biscuits with the mini chopper. And like I say, you can do this with a food processor, or you can pop them all in a Ziploc bag and bash them up. Break them into smaller pieces first and then crush them. Again, great for the kids to do. And we're going to melt our butter. So we've got 250 grams of biscuits and 60 grams of butter. I've just pared mine down a little bit because I'm doing the smaller version. I'm going to pop this in the microwave to melt first. You can do this over a bain-marie, a double boiler if you prefer. But now we have the microwave. Yay! Let's just get that. Come on. Oh, every week. There it is. It's gone to max now. Doesn't like me putting it on max. Okay, so pop that on for 45 seconds. You can do it in 30 second blast if you want. We don't want to burn it, so you just want it to melt. Bourbon biscuits. I'm just getting a bowl for the crumbs. Break in our biscuit. Do this in 2 batches. We've got somebody, YouTube comments. Let's just have a quick look at that. So we melted our butter. I haven't taken it all the way through because the heat from the residual butter will melt the rest of it. I don't want to burn it. I just want to melt it. So I'm just going to pop that there for the moment, and we'll just crack on and whiz through. You're looking for a fine sounding texture with the biscuit crumbs. We don't want any lumps or big pieces of biscuit in our base, because then when it sets, because we're going to chill it and you cut through, when you try and cut on those big chunks, it will just sort of break the entire base. So give it a really good blitz up into fine, sandy biscuit crumbs. I've been over the weekend sort of trying to figure out what we're going to do whilst we have a break over Kitchen Live over the summer. I've got recipes to test for the next Kitchen Live series. Also, I've been trying to get some videos shot for just normal content. So yesterday we made Kinder Bueno brownies. I've had these Bueno sat in the cupboard for, well, since we last summer, I think. So they're coming. I shot a video for them yesterday. Ian will be looking forward to those later. Right, I'm just going to do the last bit of that. In the meantime, all our butter has finished melting off. We're going to be using the mini chopper as well later to puree the strawberries. I'm going to leave a couple of biscuits because I think I've probably got enough. So I'm just going to pop a couple of biscuits to one side because we don't really need them. We'll use that again later. So we've got our nice fine sandy biscuit texture, and we've also got our melted butter. So with just a spoon, just make a well, have a feel out. Feels like I've got a big chunk in there. Let's get rid of that. Things like this, you don't want them this size in your filling because, like I say, when it chills and you try and cut into it, because this is now set, it's nice and it's got the butter and everything, it'll have gone really hard. So when you try and get through this, as you put the pressure on with the knife, it'll just push out and shatter your biscuit base, which is not what we want. So I'm just going through. I'm just going to make a little well in the centre there and pour in our melted butter. And just bring it together. You can do this as well in the food processor. If you're using a food processor, you can do this bit. Just pour the melted butter in and mix it together until it forms that dough. But you can, like say, look when we're doing, you can do it by hand. So it's like, and that fine sandy texture now becomes that wet sandy texture. You know, the one at the edge of the shoreline, and you put your feet in it and your toes and it squidges all. That's what we've got now. So this is our biscuit base. I'm just going to pop that to one side, and then we're going to talk about our springform pan. So we're going to line this. When you look at your springforms, you might find that most of them will have a little lip like this. You can, sometimes it depends on your spring pan, turn it over so you haven't got the lip and bake your cheesecake on there. Mine tend to not like doing that, so I go with the indented with the lip side. But if we put our cheesecake straight on there, it's going to really struggle. We're going to struggle to get it out because we're going to have to lift it and then it'll break it and everything. So what I tend to do is just get a little bit of baking parchment, just a little bit bigger than the size of our tin, and lay that when it doesn't want to uncurl. Lay that over the top. And if you open your springform, but push the clamp down as far as it will go, you can pop that nicely over the top and just clamp it through. So now we have this sort of little base, which means once it's chilled, we can use the baking parchment to slide it out of the tin and onto our stand, or however we're presenting it. You can, if you want to, cut off these little skirty sides, but they help sort of get everything off. So this is now ready. I told you this is easy for our cheesecake base. So we're just going to push everything in. And with the back of our spoon, just push it down we want it to be really well compacted. Again, you don't want it to be too loosely packed, because when we cut it, even though it's set, it will start to crumble. We want that really nice firm base. So get in there with the spoon. You'll see some people maybe use a glass and push down and move everything around. I'm just going to get that last bit. And just really pushing it, making sure you push out from the centre to the edges so there's a nice level base there, and just smooth off. Now, I'd rather do this with my spoon rather than my angled spatula at this point, because it just is a bit more sturdy. And there we have it. This is our base, and we're going to pop this now in the fridge. You want it to chill for about at least 30 minutes. You can put it in the freezer to help, but that might sort of start freezing any of the other molecules in here, like the water or any sort of residual liquid. So it's best to pop it in the fridge. About 30 minutes to an hour, in it goes. I'll get the cream out whilst I'm there. So next up, we're going to be making our filling, and then we're going to be splitting that out into our 3 different flavours. So you'll need to start off with a large mixing bowl, and then we're going to weigh. You're going to be quite fussy and try and get the same sort of amount of each filling across. So I'm going to weigh that into 3 separate mixing bowls. You can do this in a stand mixer if you want. We're just going to be going in with our trusty handheld mixer. And come on, I'll get the plug out. Actually, no, it has to be this plug. Yes, it doesn't quite reach from that plug socket today. Oh, never mind. But you want a large mixing bowl because we want to get as much air into our whipped cream as possible. So we're going to start off then with our cream cheese. Now, like I said, this is full fat cream cheese. It's Philadelphia here in the UK. You can get different sort of own brands or things. A lot of the stores do their own now. When you peel back the foil, what you'll see on the top typically is a layer of water. You want to not rinse that off, but pour it off. And you can see, even when it's been stood, I've got some here. So I'm going to try not to add that water into here, because it's that water that's going to slacken everything, and it's not going to hold the cheesecake together, and it could be a little bit runny. But you want a full fat cream cheese. To get a decent set on it, that's the most important thing. And it's this, along with our double cream, when we whisk this up, that's going to sort of just become this really thick, creamy filling. That's the bit that sets. So your cream cheese wants to be at room temperature, so about 15 minutes before you whip it up, get it out. It'll help that last little bit of water separate off, but also it's easier to whip with the whisk when it's at room temperature. There's no cold lumps or anything like that, and it makes it really nice and smooth. The cream, obviously, we're keeping in the fridge. So into our large mixing bowl, I'm going to I'm going to pour off. I'm just trying to find something to pour this into. Just going to pour off the liquid that's still on here. Just hold that there. It's a good teaspoon still. And then pop that into here. This first bit I'm going to do by hand. Oops. I forgot there was liquid in my hair. Just spelt. cream cheese liquid everywhere. This bit I'm going to do by hand, because if you over whisk it at this point, the cream cheese will just slacken too much and it won't come back together. So I'm going to use a rubber spatula, and I've got my cream cheese, and then I'm adding in about 75 grams of icing sugar, and this just gives it a little bit of sweetness and takes the edge off that cream. And this is another reason you want to do this by hand, because if you try and whisk this with the icing sugar, you'll just end up in clouds of icing. So we're just bringing it through together, just folding it in. We're not whipping it or whisking it. I'm not loosening it off. I'm literally just getting that icing sugar mixed in. That's it. That's the simple bit. I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla extract now. I'm going to add a little bit more into my vanilla layer, but I'm just going to add about half a teaspoon at this point. In that goes. And then I'm going to add in my cream. So this is, I've got, for the smaller cheesecake, I've got about 300 grams of cream cheese and 150 mils of this. The recipe ingredients are all for an 8-inch one, which is a little bit more. You can scale it down quite easily. So I'm going to pop that in there. Just get the cream cheese off here. Just to rest those. And then with my handheld mixer, I'm just going to whisk it up on low to start. I'm going to need those bowls in a minute. And that's it. It's nice and whipped. It doesn't take long at all because the cream whips up quite quickly, and the cream cheese, the thickness from that helps bring everything together. So if you're just doing a one flavour cheesecake now, you could add your add-ins into it, anything that you want to do. But we're going to be making a Neapolitan. We're going to be making those 3 distinct layers: chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla. So we want to split this out. I want to try and get them equal layers. So I'm going to weigh out my filling and try and get them roughly, she says, the same weight. So let's see first by judging by the eye. So if we call that 135 to start. There we go, and then let's see what our third layer is. I'm just going to move this around. All bit fingers and thumbs today. We want about 135 then here. I've got plenty, so probably that's 150. 160, so we probably have enough to take them all to 160. Yeah. Probably a little bit more. Just going to split that out. So my layers here actually are probably about 180 grams. I'm just gonna, lots of washing up. That's the only thing. When you make things over several layers, they get lots of washing up to do. So we've got three flavour fillings here. We've got we're going to have a vanilla, a strawberry, and a chocolate. So let's do the chocolate first because we want this to cool a little bit before we pop it into our cheesecake filling. So I'm using a dark chocolate. I'm not using a high percentage. It's about 40 to 50% cocoa. So still want it to be a little bit sweet. You can use something higher, like a 70%. That will give you a slightly bitter flavour. Remember that it's dark chocolate, it's not milk, so it's not necessarily sweet. If you want sort of a more sweeter chocolate, you can switch that out for a milk chocolate, but maybe start with a lower, darker chocolate to begin with. So this is going to go into the microwave to melt. Let's get that going. Oh. I don't know why you didn't just put that back on. Come on. The touch, and I'm obviously touching it the wrong place. So I'm going to do that for a minute. It's not probably going to need a minute or so. When you're melting your chocolate, you don't want to over melt it or burn it, because it will season it, it'll become grainy. You can do it on the hob over a pan of water. There's 30 minutes. You can do it on the hob over a pan of water. You just don't want the water as it simmers, because again that will overheat the chocolate. It's melting point, so you might still have a few bits of chocolate that are still a bit chunky in there, but a bit like we did with the butter, that residual heat will help melt the remaining chocolate without sort of overheating it or causing it to seize. So let's take a look at that. No, that needs a bit more. Let's go back up for another 40 seconds. Oh, and press start. You can do it in sort of 30-second blocks if that's easier for you. Right, just whilst that's melting, then we'll just get in and finish our vanilla extract, our vanilla layer off. And we've already popped half a teaspoon of vanilla in, but I want this to really taste vanilla-y without being overpowering. So you could use vanilla bean paste or the beans from a pod. We're going to put an extra teaspoon of our vanilla extract in there and just give it a good mix through. So that's that one. Oh, chocolate doesn't seem to... it's starting to melt. It might be because it's in a plastic one. So I'm going to pop this back in because it's still not there. Let's go for another minute. Okay. So whilst the chocolate is still melting, we've got our vanilla layer ready. Let's get rid of the scales again. And we now need to do our strawberry layer. So I'm using fresh strawberries. You can use, like I say, you could use a variety of things. Let's just get a little vegetable knife. Hoping my chocolate's not seizing, so I'm just going to check it again. It's not, this chocolate today does not really want to melt for me, so just been a bit careful. Let's pop it back in. Another 30 seconds. Like I said, so for the strawberry layer, I'm using fresh strawberries, we're going to puree these, but you could use something like Angel Delight. You can sprinkle this into the mix if you're doing a big batch and mixing it by hand. That will help whisk it up. If you're making it straight into here, add a little bit of water to it and make it into sort of a paste, and then add it into your cream cheese filling. Or you could use like Nesquik, like a strawberry milkshake. If I don't say thank you to this, it'll keep beeping. Let's just have a look. That chocolate is nearly there, but it's not quite. It doesn't really want to melt for me today. It might be because it's in a different dish. So this is almost there. So I'm going to pop it in just for another, maybe 30 seconds. I don't want a minute 30 because that will seize it. I just want gentle. So yes, with our strawberry, we're going to use the fresh strawberry, or you can use the Strawberry Angel Delight or a Nesquik, or like we made last week, the quick berry curd for the roulade. You could use that as well if you're not fussed on it being particular flavour, or like you just fancy a mixed berry layer. So you can use those instead. We're going to just therefore sort our strawberries out once this oven finishes. That, I think, is going to be enough. If I take it any further, I'm going to seize my chocolate. There we go. So I've still got a couple of lumps in here, but it's melting through. And I don't want to add this into the, I'm just going to put that on a heat thing, but it's fine. I don't want to add this just yet into my cheesecake filling because it's warm. It'll start to melt this and it will curdle a bit. So let the chocolate cool and pop your filling layer to the side. So we're just going to therefore get our strawberries ready. Let's change over some plugs again. So I'm using the mini chopper from before, and I'm just going to chop my strawberries into quarters. Take the tops off. These have all been cleaned beforehand. Don't have to worry about hulling them or anything like that. Pop those in. And we don't want too much because we've only got a little bit of cheesecake filling. So I'm not going to use all of those, but you can judge how many you need. Let's pop this to the side. Pop our mini chopper lid back on. There we go. Let's get rid of that. Oh, need some spoons. So with our pureed strawberries then, you know how much I hate you guys seeing all this rubbish. I'm just going to take a spoon at a time. I'm not going to add it all at once because it will curdle if I do add it all at once. And it will become too thick. Remember, we're talking about adding liquid again. But you'll get a nice pink colour from your strawberries through there. I might just add a couple more drops. So I can use that later if I want to, if I want to drizzle it over the top. And add it to some icing sugar to make a strawberry glaze. So that's our strawberry filling. If I wanted to take this any pinker, I could put a little bit of food colouring in. I'd use a food colour gel because obviously that's not going to dilute down my mixture anymore. So we've got our vanilla and we've got our strawberry. Lastly then is our chocolate layer. So this is our last, and that's cooled down. I can feel it on the bottom. So again, I might not need all of this, but I'm going to pop in a good dollop to start with and mix it through. Just, oops, take a little bit more. Another teaspoon. My leftover strawberries I could dip in the chocolate. Make sure you fold the chocolate through. You don't want any lumps of chocolate as it sets in there. So that's our three, chocolate, strawberry and vanilla. And apparently when the sort of the Neapolitan cheesecake, Neapolitan ice cream, the Neapolitan colours and flavours come from Naples, obviously in Italy, and we've sort of, it's been westernised when the over the years to being on the chocolate, the strawberry and the vanilla. It was originally, I believe, sort of more in line with the Italian flag with a green, white and pink layer, and the chocolate has sort of replaced a almond pistachio layer, and the strawberry would have originally apparently been cherry. The vanilla stays, but or it's sometimes called a harlequin cake, but for me, it's always those blocks that you used to get in the supermarket, and then you put the two wafers between it. But I always want just the vanilla and the chocolate. So we've just taken our base out the fridge. It's had time to cool and start to set. Yours you'll want to leave in a little bit longer than I have, but that's all ready to go now with our three layers. So we're going to start off with our chocolate layer. I'm going to need some more spoons, I think. I'm going to spoon. Let's get some more little spoons, some teaspoons to help through here. Ian is going to have lots of bowls to lick when he gets home. So that's our first one. Oh, look at all the washing up. It's a good job the dishwasher got emptied this morning. Just going to use a spoon to start with to move that chocolate cheesecake layer all the way round. There we go. Now, so you can leave this to set if you want and then sort of put the next layers on, but these are quite sort of, the cheesecake itself, this mixture is quite sort of firm, so you can layer this up quite easily. The only thing you might want to do is just with a little bit of kitchen paper, is just run around that edge so you get a, you haven't got the chocolate going up the strawberry layer. We'll do the same with the strawberry layer. So that's our chocolate cheesecake filling. So next in goes our strawberry. And when you put this next layer on, just be careful not to push down or on your following filling, because you don't want them to merge. You want them to sit on top of each other. So just gently push it around. Feels like I've got more chocolate than I had strawberry, but I weighed them all out, so they are equal there. I've got cheesecake at my arm now. Just gently coaxing it round with the spoon. There we go. There is plenty of washing up to do. So like I just did with the chocolate layer, I'm just going to take a piece of kitchen roll, just tidy that up before I put our last vanilla layer on. So that's our strawberries. And then on with our final vanilla cheesecake layer. So and again, just gently coaxing it. Don't push down onto the layer beneath it, otherwise they'll merge together, but just using the back of a spoon or with an angled palette knife. I haven't used mine today. Just gently level that off all the way around. Make sure you get it to the edges. It's nice and smooth and hopefully level. Let's get rid of that last one. Oh, washing up. And I'm just going to take my angled spatula now and just run that over the top. So that's our top layer. We want it to be nice and smooth and level. There we go. And that's our last layer in. We're just going to take a little bit of the kitchen roll again and just run that round that edge, so we're not getting any. There we go. Put that there with everything else to be washed up. So this is now going to go into the fridge to set. Now you want to make sure that you set it for at least 6 hours. It's best if you do it really the day before and chill it overnight, so then you know it's definitely chilled. And it is really easy to make ahead and do and get ready, and you're not going to be faffing around if you're making it for an occasion or anything. But this now goes in the fridge, and then when it comes out, what I will do before I release this spring is I'll take a long a knife, like a long kitchen knife with a nice flatbread blade, not a serrated one. I'll just run it gently under the hot tap on the sink, so that heats the blade a little bit. Dry it, and then I'll just run it around the inside of my cheesecake, and then I'll unclamp it. If I don't do that, when I go to release this clamp, what it will do is all the cheesecake that's stuck to the outside here will just pull away with the springform pan. So yeah, just a nice warm knife round the inside, don't have to dig it in or saw it. Just gently take it round the edge and then release your clamp. So this is our 3 layers in here. Our chocolate biscuit base, our chocolate cheesecake, our strawberry layer, and our vanilla layer. So that's going in the fridge. And that's it, really. With all these cheesecakes that I make, I absolutely love them, and they are super, super easy to make. When that comes out, and I'm not going to take it out till tomorrow, but once I release it, I will then decorate it. If I decorate it in the tin, it's when I take it out, I'm going to risk sort of bashing it around. What I probably will do is use some of the melted chocolate that I've got left over, some of my strawberries. But I was thinking ice cream, Neapolitan ice cream, strawberry, chocolate, vanilla. That's quite sort of ice cream sundae. So I might make like a chocolate ganache to go on the top, some whipped cream, some strawberries. And I was thinking I've got maraschino cherries in the cupboard, and use those for that with a few little sprinkles. You could also use some glacier cherries or just some whipped cream or chocolate, or you can just leave it as it is and serve it with a sauce instead. But that's when I take it out, I'll figure it out what I'm gonna do. But it's super, super simple. So we're just going to do the usual. Let's have a quick recap. We made a No Bake Neapolitan cheesecake, and that's based on that classic 3 flavour ice cream block that all comes together, the chocolate, the vanilla, and the strawberry. And we've done that with 3 layers in our cheesecake. We've gone with a chocolate biscuit base with the chocolate layer, the strawberry cheesecake made with the fresh strawberries, which we've pureed, and then we've put the vanilla layer on as well. I've made a 6-inch. The recipe is for an 8-inch cake, cheesecake, which is going to serve about 8 to 10 people. Might be 10 to 12, depends how big you like your cheesecake slices. But it's really quick. There's no faff, there's no gelatin, there's no setting agents or baking it and water baths or anything like that. It's just whipping that cream cheese and the double cream together and popping it in the fridge and letting it set. So it's a good one for the kids as well, because they can get stuck in, they can mix through the flavors, they can bash the biscuits. We've used a bourbon biscuit. So yeah, it's simple. You guys know I love my cheesecakes. So I've used therefore bourbon biscuits, so the chocolate cream biscuits here in the UK. You could use an Oreo. You could use chocolate cookies instead. You could use anything, digestives, milk chocolate digestive, dark chocolate digestive, is entirely up to you. And then we've bound that, once we've crushed it to a fine sandy texture, we've bound that with a little bit of melted unsalted butter, which we then combined into a wet sandy dough, and we've lined the base of our springform pan with that. Our cheesecake filling is made with the full fat cream cheese, a little bit of icing sugar for sweetness, and double cream. And then our 3 flavors, we've used vanilla extract, a homemade vanilla extract for our vanilla layer, a little bit of melted chocolate for the chocolate, and fresh strawberries, which we pureed down for the strawberry layer. And equipment wise, it's super simple. I mean, you saw how many bowls I had, but that's only because we're making lots of different flavors. But you just need a hand whisk and a large mixing bowl, really. You don't need a lot else, and obviously your springform pan. And I'd really recommend a springform pan. You don't want to be trying to push up a loose based cake tin or anything like that, because those sides are just going to all mush together. So it's been a quiet Sunday, to be quite honest. You guys have been quiet, but never mind. It's great. But those of you that have popped in, it's been lovely to see you. So I'm just going to let you guys catch up with the rest of your Sunday. I'm going to try and grab a walk whilst it's still sunny as well. But this is the last Kitchen Live of this series for the spring. I'm going to be working up some new recipes over the next couple of weeks and months, and then into July, so July, August time, watch out. We're going to be doing a few recipes over the summer as well. And I'm filming videos for you, so they'll be coming through. We've got we've got the Kinder Bueno brownies, which I'm going to finish off as well and take the photos of. And there's some, I think I've got a couple of posts still waiting to go live as well. So yeah, there's lots to do, but I hope everybody is really, really well and keeping safe. And I will see you again. I'll see you over on Facebook and YouTube and wherever else I happen to be, but I will see you again very soon. Have a lovely break, and I will see you in the summer. Take care. Bye for now.